Well, the government has moved to simplify the GST return filing process. The new draft GST return filing forms are here. We've been flooded with queries, and to answer them, we have with us this evening M.K. Sinha, the Joint Secretary at the CBIC and Member Secretary to the Group of Ministers on the simplification of GST returns. But first up, let's go across to our colleague Timsy Jaipuria for a lowdown on what these new forms look like. Timsy.
Well, the 28th GST Council meeting had approved the new simplified GST return forms, which are now available in public domain for stakeholders to comment. Now, the simplified GST return form gives a breather to small taxpayers by allowing them to opt to file returns on quarterly basis. And for nil taxpayers, the returns can be filed by just sending a SMS. Doing away with the current three-stage return filing process, the Council has made it easy for getting in just one single return form to the taxpayers, and they can now easily file and identify themselves as to what they want to do, whether they want to amend their returns or they want to file quarterly returns, or do they want to just upload their invoices.
All right, Timsy, so that's sum and substance of the changes that have been proposed. So as per the new format, the first step a taxpayer has to take is to identify himself under the categories as to whether he is a small or a large taxpayer. If he is indeed a small taxpayer, which means he has a turnover of less than 5 crore rupees per annum, he can choose to file either a monthly return, a quarterly return, or a simplified quarterly return. However, a large taxpayer has to continue to file returns on a monthly basis. Joining us now to take us through what are the changes and why these changes have been made with us is Manish Sinha. Mr. Sinha, I appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18. Very quickly, and you know, these are the comments that we've been getting in from our tax experts as well as people who are writing in with their queries. Has the return format really simplified because the GSTR1 and GSTR2 has now been replaced with annexures to the main return with details almost remaining the same? So is this old wine in a new bottle?
No, it is not. GSTR 1, 2, 3 was a three-step process, and GSTR 2 was the most difficult part of the return. Now you have only one return. What is going in the annexure of the return is only the invoices. So long as invoice has to be captured, it will come somewhere. So it is a main return, and there are invoices as annexure to the return. There is no GSTR 2. The input tax credit table takes care of some of the validations which you generally would like to do in relation to input tax credit, and then you pay the taxes. So it is a much simplified return than it was before. Also, we had multiple stages of stakeholder consultations before this design was finalized by the group of ministers and approved by the council. So this does take on board concerns of large and small taxpayers in a very significant way.
What have been the main pain points that you have addressed through this new return format?
First and foremost is that from three-stage return process, you are returning to a single-stage return process. Second, there was a lot of back and forth movement of information in the last design. GSTR 1 going to 1A, going to 2, going to 2A, and then 3. So there were that multiplicity of flow of information has been changed with you. Unilateral flow of information. The threshold for a small taxpayer has been increased to 5 crore. And these taxpayers will be able to file now quarterly return with monthly tax payment. Their pre-identified profiles have been created, giving them very simple return for small traders who are doing only B2C supplies, or somebody who has a very small B2B and B2C supply and has domestic purchases. So all in all, 93% of the taxpayers should be filing returns which are very simple.
Okay, so let's take that point forward now and let's go back across to Timsy. So Timsy, you know, we've got the Sahaj form, the Sugam form, as well as the quarterly return. So take us through the details of that.
Well, if you see the return forms, and let me just explain it, the major changes which have come now are for making compliance easier for small taxpayers. A small taxpayer has to choose from 3 forms: Sahaj, Sugam, and quarterly simple. Under Sahaj, a form which is basically designed for taxpayers who sell directly to consumers. They can file quarterly returns also as per their choice, but in case they will have to pay taxes on monthly basis. If you see, this is how the Sahaj form looks like, and we could also now go back to Mr. Sinha, who can explain this for us. What is Sahaj and how best, what should a taxpayer should focus on?
Yeah.
In Sahaj, actually, where there is only B2C supply, all he has to do is fill in the details of B2C, total value of sale, and the taxes payable.
Okay.
As far as his credit is concerned, it flows directly to his input tax credit table from the invoices uploaded by his sellers. So, he uploads his invoice, which is basically gives the detail of B2C sales, takes credit on the basis of invoice uploaded by his sellers, and then makes the payment of tax. So that is as simple as that. There is no intermediate step involved here. There is no GSTR 123 involved here. All he has to do is declare his B2C totals value, taxes payable, take credit on the basis of invoice uploaded by the suppliers, and pay the taxes. And this he has to do on a quarterly basis.
Okay.
In month 1 and 2, all he has to do is tell as to what is the expected sale value and the credit which he would want to use to offset the liability and pay taxes.
Okay, so that's as far as Sahaj is concerned. What about Sugam?
Sugam has one more extra feature, and that is if the taxpayer wants to also make B2B supplies and he's not making B2C supplies only. By example, I'll say B2C is essentially your neighborhood kirana store who will sell essentially to the consumers. But there could be small businesses who would like to issue invoices using which another business can take credit, but predominantly their supply is domestic purchase and sale. They can use B2C and B2B combination,
which is the Sugam form.
Which is the Sugam form.
And what about quarterly simplified?
Quarterly simplified is simplified from the main return in as much that there are 3 features which have been removed from the main return. That is, those supplies which do not create liability, for example, exempt supplies, non-GST supplies have been removed. They do not need to go through the process of elaborate credit accounting, which involves pending, keeping some invoices pending, keep rejecting some invoices, and then reporting missing invoices. These 2 steps are missing, and then capital goods credit also is not required to be reported. So simplification in output table, simplification in credit table from the main return leads to simplified quarterly return.
Okay, you know, this is a question that's come in from Prateek Jain of PwC, who's been on our GST panel since it rolled out. And since we were talking about B2B customers, his question is that given that small taxpayers also need to file monthly annexures for supplies to B2B customers and also pay tax on a monthly basis, can this be seen as compliance simplification really?
I fear that factually there is a little bit of a difference. A person who's small and is filing quarterly return will not need to file annexures on a monthly basis. All he needs to do is upload his invoice on a monthly basis, because the entire design is based on the concept of continuous upload and visibility. It brings transparency to the system. You are able to upload your invoice and your buyer is able to see the invoice.
Okay.
So that will keep happening continuously. So once for a particular month, you have uploaded all your invoices, your buyer is able to see, you will pay your taxes on the self-declaration basis. The annexure to a return is not required to be filed on a monthly basis.
It's not required to be filed on a monthly basis. Okay, so that's an important clarification. We've got another question that's come in, and this one is coming from a viewer, Pankaj Chaudhary. Pankaj, I hope you're watching. This is your question. The government is not clarified yet which return is to be filed by the taxpayers for the month of August and so on, whether GSTR 3B and GSTR 1 will continue.
As far as the present system of GSTR 3B and GSTR 1 is concerned, this process will continue till the new design takes over. And new
which
design
is when?
Which could be some. The council has given the date of 1st of January, so I'll stand by that date as of now.
1st of January is when you're hoping, okay?
Okay, so that's the date council has given, that's not my date. And till such time, GSTR 3B and GSTR 1 process will continue.
Okay, so GSTR 3B and GSTR 1 will continue at least till the 1st of January. That is the date set by the GST Council to make the move to the new simplified format. Another query, and this one is also coming to us from one of our viewers, saying, what is the need to report HSN summary for small taxpayers in the Sahaj form if they're not required to disclose invoices if their turnover is below 1.5 crores? It is not possible to report the HSN summary if we're not maintaining computerized accounting. This continues to be hardship for small taxpayers.
Okay, HSN summary actually, you see, small taxpayer till now was somebody who was smaller than 1.5 crore. But to bring in simplification for larger tax base, it was decided to raise the threshold to 5 crore, and therefore HSN information up to 5 crore could not have waited to be filed in the annual information, and therefore it is in part of the monthly return. Also, by now trade has settled with HSN, and most of the traders' experience shows are dealing in 10 to 20 commodities. For those 10 to 20 commodity, it will be possible to maintain HSN table. The IT platform also will give you a HSN master table in which you can store the description and HSN, so that while filling, you don't have to go through the entire tariff, and all you have to do is pick up the item from your master table, which will be of 15 to 20 commodities. So we will take care that the difficulty arising out of HSN is handled through HSN, through the IT master tables.
Okay, since we're talking about HSN, here's another query. The HSN code for goods and services were required to be reported at a 2 to 4 digit level. The draft format asks for reporting of services at a 6-digit HSN. Will this not create system configuration issues for businesses and complicate the return filing process even further? So this is a specific query with respect to the HSN reporting guidelines versus the old and new.
Okay, as far as HSN reporting guidelines are concerned, HSN is to be reported at 4-digit or more. So if you are comfortable with filing at 4-digit HSN, even for services, you can file HSN at 4-digit level. If the language is conveying something different, we will have a look at it. But your requirement is HSN at 4-digit or more. And 4-digit is pretty much like a family of services supplied. So it should not be difficult to report at 4-digit.
Okay, so you can continue to report at a 4-digit level as well. Okay, that's another important clarification that's coming. We are going to take a break here on the GST Centimeter. Keep those questions coming in. We address all your queries with Manish Sinha on the new GST return format. That's coming up for you after the break.